Hi, my name
Hello?
is Katja. Hello? Is this...
Hello?
Are you on the other line? Hello?
Hello there?
Callum? Did I
Is
call the right
that
number?
you?
Excuse me, ma'am.
Geraldine? Geraldine, are you... is this the FaceTime? Is the FaceTime working yet?
Ma'am, I think you have the wrong number.
Geraldine, please.
You're currently on...
I fell off my Zimmer frame. I think this is it for me. I feel the cold hand of death on my shoulder tonight, Geraldine. I think this is my time.
Ma'am, I think you're
Tell Harold that I love him.
I don't know Harold.
I slept
sorry.
with the fuck are you, bitch? Back in '68. And scene.
Anyway. Wow. Are you planning on going to acting school? Because you need it.
Oh, damn. The roasts are out today.
Anyway, we didn't even introduce the goddamn podcast.
They know what they're listening to. They know what they're listening to.
It's in fact the debrief.
It says in the title.
Hosts.
It says in the title.
No one accidentally happens upon this podcast.
No.
No one's like, oh, I'm just perusing some of the most popular podcasts on online. You know, NPR, maybe some Tiny Meat Gang, perhaps.
That one about my dad wrote a porno. My father co-authored an erotic novel. Is that what it's called?
That's exactly what it's called.
Yeah, that one. And then they're just like, oh, what's this then?
Oh, the debrief.
But the thing is, even if they did that, they would still be like, oh, it's the debrief. And then the episode starts and we're like, hi, my name's Katja Olcott, and I'm Calum, and this is the debrief. We're here to insult your ability to read.
Yeah, so this episode, I literally have written nothing down. I am not prepared.
But as Katja always likes to tell us, she is part of an improv comedy group, so you know.
I like to say I'm quick thinking. I think with my feet, you know.
I'm quick with my feet and my thinking. I do it with my feet. They're quick. I'm also good at the 100-yard dash because my feet are quick.
Feet are quick.
I think with them.
My mind is in the same level as my feet, same wavelength. We're quick in thinking, and the feet, yes.
There is symmetry between they are aligned. They know there is communication going on there. That's what's happening.
Through the neurons. I took basic biology.
Welcome to the Christmas episode. Merry Christmas, guys. This episode is releasing on Christmas Day. It's Christmas Day. Merry Christmas, or as we like to say, Happy Holidays here at the debrief. We like to say Happy Holidays here. We're those fuckers.
It is currently the 7th of January, so don't let Calum fool you. We did not post this super late like we did with our last episode.
Well, you say that now.
Which just went up. Actually, I do say that just
Woo!
now. But we're officially... Okay, so you know how I said last week we were officially off the screening? Like, the people who run the podcasting club were no longer screening our episodes? Well, there seemed to be a little bit of an issue, because apparently we have to apply to be one of those people who doesn't need to be screened. And so I didn't send that email until today. And when I sent that email today, they finally uploaded our gosh darn podcast
Did you just censor yourself there?
I did.
In the middle of talking about how we are free creatives, our radical ideas can be fired out along the podcast waves, and you censored yourself?
You know what? I'm home now. It's actually really funny because my parents have noticed that I've started cursing a lot more. And I was like, in my head, I'm always like, I've always cursed this much. They've just never heard it.
Because you've got some bad friends at the William and Mary. They're bad influence.
You know, when you go down to Virginia, you run into people who...
They do terrible things there.
Your parents wouldn't be too happy about, you know?
Charles Lee.
It's a really... Williamsburg's a real dangerous place. You got colonials just running around. A lot of twomps, a lot of nerds.
What the hell is a twomp? Oh, wait, no, it's a...
It's a typical William and Mary person, which just basically means a nerd.
Damn. Katja, you didn't have to do them like that, okay? This is the part of the show where our FaceTime breaks in the middle of a sentence.
I can't do that.
We're back, baby.
We are back, baby.
Another seamless transition. They'll never notice that anything happens there.
So yeah, a twomp is, it literally just stands for typical William and Mary person, which means like someone who's really nerdy, who doesn't go out a lot, who is like stays at home and just studies all the time, and that's the typical student at William and Mary. If you wanted to know, that's
I
how
didn't,
we live our
but
lives.
you told me, so you know.
Yeah, I know.
Hey, we
actually got some great traditions at William and Mary that I actually I've yet to try.
The way that you started that sentence, I thought it was going into. We've actually got a lot of fan mail this week. Actually, a lot of mail been coming through. A lot of you guys sharing your views about the podcast, sharing your views about some of the topics we've been bringing up. Been getting a little political recently.
Got an email from my grandma. She loved the show. Actually, that's not really what she emailed me about, but her petunias really are coming in. They're looking good. They're looking good. I will say that.
Thanks, Gladys. Thanks, Gladys Olcott from Jersey. Where's your dad from? Ohio?
He's from Jersey.
I knew it.
First of all, her name's not Gladys. It's Judith. Thank you very much.
Hello.
Judith would be very offended.
Oh, Judith Olcott, my lady. How's it going?
And she currently lives in Pennsylvania, not New Jersey. See, Calum never listens.
You've never told me that before.
That is very true. I never told you that. I call her my nanny, so how would you know her name is Judith?
Well, I was talking to Judith the other day.
Yeah, just like, wait, wouldn't it be hilarious if you're like talking to a friend who doesn't know who your like grandparents' names are, and you're like, yeah, I was talking to Judith the other night. Real bag of a lady. And they're like, who are you talking about? My grandma, sorry.
My grandma. Come on.
You know, she's a real I don't want to say anything bad about my grandma, actually. She's a lovely woman.
I'll say something bad about your grandma. Just you try and stop me.
Alright, say something bad about my grandma, Calum. I'll fight you.
I don't think Pennsylvania is a very good choice of location to move to. Although in saying that, anywhere is uphill from Jersey, so, you know.
That's very true.
Bada bing, bada boom. I don't know anything about American culture. What?
Speaking of New Jersey, we have a special friend from New Jersey who I'm going to see on Wednesday for the first time since the summer. And you know who it is. You care to share, Calum?
Oh, wait, no, I genuinely, didn't realize there. It's James Parker.
James Parker.
James Parker the 40th.
Our lovely and dearest friend.
Let's completely dox him. Just get a bleep sound effect and bleep out everything.
His social security number is 596. Just like
James Parker of Bernardsville, New Jersey.
His address is blah blah blah.
No. We have to actually be bold, be brave. We have to actually.
I actually don't remember his
friends.
address off the top of my head. I think I have it saved to my phone.
Fake fan. Also,
yeah. Do you know it off the top of your head?
Yeah, I'm not going to say it because I respect his privacy.
That's
someone whose privacy
such a cop out.
Someone whose privacy I don't respect, though. Linda Eckefelt of something.
Callum giving away personal information
in Brussels. Phone number
1-800. Callum's a cunt for making me edit this.
There you go.
Wow.
Current residence
666. The Devil Will Rise place.
So yeah, if you could just bleep all that out right now.
Right now.
And also bleep this out. You can't stop me.
I'm insecure in my masculinity.
Whoa, Calum.
Good science.
Throwing in that.
Some dated, edgy content. Here we go.
Okay, Calum will try to tell you that was a shit accent, but I thought it was solid, so.
But yeah, I'm seeing Jamie. Last time I saw him was over the summer, and we went to Six Flags, and we rid the King Dakar for the first time. That was actually fucking wild.
This is a shit story.
It is a shit story. Callum, I told you I literally wrote nothing down.
This
Absolutely
is such
nothing.
what I did on my summer holidays. This is something you'd write when you were 7. You come back, first day of school, and they're like, write about what you did in your holidays.
This holiday, me and my parents and my grandparents and my brother and sister went on a cruise together. Mommy and Daddy are probably getting a divorce because we were there for 4 weeks. And Grandpa Joseph also died on the boat, but they couldn't stop it because we were in the middle of the ocean. So they had to hide him in the cupboard. But, I still got ice cream every day, so I had a good time.
Mummy says Daddy's a pig because she found him naked wrestling with Amanita, our maid.
The yoga instructor. We went down 2 different paths. She's a maid and yoga instructor. The cruise is really short on staff.
Yeah, she's a working woman. Here's a little tip for you as a semi-successful, not even podcast host. Little tip for you amateurs starting up. I know that's why a lot of people listen to the debrief. It's for tips.
Yes, we're
podcasting 101. Always eat loud food on your podcast.
Calum has chips right now, and I wish I brought myself a snack. All I have is water.
I'm right here, baby.
Right here, baby.
But
I literally, all I have is water. All I have is water.
Hey, at least you have that. Some people don't, okay?
I know. I was about to make a really crude joke, but I won't.
Do it. You coward. Do it.
No, I refuse. I'm going to be president one day. Calum,
make a joke about the children in Africa. I dare you to.
I was going to make a joke about the children in Africa.
Yeah, I know you
can't. There's nothing to joke about.
You should become a spokesperson for one of those charities.
Oh God, I kind of hate those people.
I don't remember any of them, but I know they exist.
Hey, you there. Do you have water? Well, some people don't. If you donate $2 right now, you can help a child have water for 1 day. Thank you. See, I'd be a great spokesperson.
Hey, we know you've got some white guilt.
Hey, you there. The white person. Who, me?
Hey, yo, Cracker.
Hey, Cracker. Listen up, buddy. There's some shit going down south, and you better fix it.
I see
it's
you.
Your fault.
Privileged with your fridge water. What the fuck's that? Your fridge water?
You ate avocado toast today, you son of a bitch. You can donate some water.
I saw you buy your 5th Starbucks today. I know you got a spare penny about you, you cunt.
I know you talked about taxes today. You can afford to pay taxes. You can afford to you can afford to pay for this water.
I would be down for these new, more aggressive charity ads. Honestly, I'm up for it.
I feel like they make more money,
Probably.
with that approach.
Yeah.
Most charity ads is just like a couple of sad kids who are looking up at the camera and they're like, think about the children. And you're like, well,
I'm gonna die before I reach the age of 3. Don't care. You know what will get me to care? An angry person telling me that I should feel guilty because it was my ancestors that caused them to be in that position. Bada bing, bada boom. There you go.
Exactly.
Also,
guilt is the key to money.
Guilt is the key to money. Another method in which more aggressive tactics would work. Those people who you see walking down the streets and they got their clipboards and they got their little buckets. They're just sort of standing there. They sort of make eye contact with you and you walk past them. However, easier way to make money on the street if you're one of those people, bring a crowbar, mug them.
Crowbar.
Wabash.
Exactly.
Take their wallet. Take their
ping.
What you want
Take their dignity.
You want some make them donate their dignity. You want some spare change? Take their credit card. They can't stop you if they're unconscious.
Exactly. I feel like we should just be an advice podcast. I feel like we could give people really sound advice about everyday things, not everyday things, we get someone on the line. We should get someone on the line. I don't even know how to do that, but I feel like we need someone on the line.
We should get someone on the line.
Yeah, we'll be like, ring, hello. Hi, this is Susie from Hoboken. I'm going through a really tough time with my boyfriend. He's sleeping with 5 other women. They're all Asian. I think he has a thing for the Asians. And it really worries me because I think he'll leave me soon. Or like, all right, Susie, first problem is,
That's a very general statement there. That's the first problem with that. Asia's a really big country. What are you talking about? We're talking about Asian subcontinent, India, Far East India? Asian.
Maybe some Cambodians. Are we talking about Cambodians? Hello?
What's Russians can be Asians as well. What's going on? Cindy?
Yeah, they're white. I mean, come on. If you're white, making the presumption that Susie is white, I'm assuming that the girls are not.
No, maybe it's not like they're still white. He's just attracted to the exotic nature of them.
Yes.
Damn, that was a fire piece of advice. You're welcome, Susie.
We literally said
you're absolutely welcome. I mean, most of these things do. Have you ever listened to one of those things and actually heard them give any real advice? They just talk around the topic.
Yeah, they're always like, oh, well, let me describe this topic in even more detail. Let's consider all the factors that weren't said, and then we'll say absolutely nothing because we do not have enough information.
Yeah.
That's the thing, they always are like, you'll always notice that people who are giving advice on radio shows or talk shows or whatever, if it's read in from, like, if someone writing in or someone calling in and then they hang up, or, like, there's no way to get a follow-up, they always find a way to make a question that can't be answered, and so therefore they can't give the advice properly or whatever. I'm putting quotations around properly.
Yeah, thanks.
Because they'll be like, we don't know the full picture, so I don't feel confident in my ability to give advice. It's like, that's not the point. You're supposed to take what you have and give some goddamn advice.
Commit
You're like, Susie, leave his ass. He's sleeping with 5 other women. Doesn't matter if they're Asian. It
doesn't matter what the context of that is. We don't need context for that.
There's no context. No, you know what the context is? He's sleeping with 5 other women. That's the context.
We don't need this useless information about their ethnicity, Susie. The point of that story, you can stop beating around the bush. I think my husband might have a thing for Asian women. Your husband's cheating on you with 5 different women. That's the problem you have.
They just happen to be Asian. Susie, you're the one who's racist. Just starts yelling at Susie the whole time.
One of those
Why
advice
did you bring
calls?
up the fact that they're Asian, huh, Susie?
Why they have to be Asian? What's up?
Why did It's like that Vine with Drew Gooden where he goes, he's like, oh yeah, my friend from work. He's like, oh, is your friend black? He's like, yeah, why? It's like, why does it matter if he's black? I don't know. You ask, hello, I'd like to report a racism.
It's exactly one of those. I think that would be better. Once again, a case where being more aggressive would improve vastly the situation. If you had one of those call-in talk shows where they were supposed to give advice to people, but every time they just fucking roasted them. Well, what the fuck is your problem? This isn't an issue, Angela. You don't have a problem. You need to get your life together. It's not your boyfriend's fault. It's your fault for being a fucking mess.
Be like, Carl, you have to stop eating cat food. That's step 1.
That's your main problem there, Carl, is that you're a fucking psychopath. That's the main issue that you got there.
Who the fuck eats cat food?
There's no advice that we can give you. Just don't eat cat food.
That's the advice. Don't eat cat food. You'll meet more women, Carl.
How dare you call in here and say that you have a cat food addiction and you want advice on how to deal with that in your social life. Just don't eat cat food. Don't try and factor that into your considerations of how you can work out your social life. Carl, even if you weren't eating cat food, you're boring, Carl. You're an uninteresting person. That's why people don't talk to you. It's got nothing to do with your weird eating habits.
Carl's just slowly just lowered into a depressive state by just constantly berating him for 20 minutes of the call. Carl's just like, I'm not worth anything anymore.
Oh my god, they're right.
You're like, Carl, you weepy bitch.
Carl,
get it together.
Get the fucking shit together. I'm actually looking up agony answers right now. Let's have a look, shall we?
Have a look, shall we?
Have a
cheeky gander.
Here's one. See how you can respond to this, okay?
Alright.
I am a lover of pets, but I think my neighbors have gone too far. They have a pet snake named Lucille who keeps escaping and ends up in my garden. My neighbors are always very apologetic about Lucille's travels, and so far, I haven't had the heart to confront them about it. The problem is that I'm a very friendly person with them, and we often get together for barbecues and garden parties. I don't want to ruin this friendship, but feel that a large snake making regular visits to my garden is pushing the limits. Help!
Wait, what the fuck? First of all, the first thing I love about that is they named the snake Lucille.
Yeah.
And the person writing this, it's less so that the snake is named Lucille, and more so that the person felt the need to mention the snake's name.
Yeah.
Like, she could have just been like, my neighbor's snake is just loose in my garden. She didn't have to be like, my neighbor's snake, Lucille. You know Lucille.
Lucille, by the way, in case you were wondering, I know you weren't, but there you go.
It's like when vets need to know the dog's name. Like, do they actually, though?
Do they really? They're gonna kill
like,
it.
who are we
I'd rather
dealing
not
with
know.
today? Dog. It's a dog. We're dealing with a dog.
It's
Why
an
do you need to know
animal.
the dog's name?
Where's
Treatment
the
is treatment.
Damn.
Yeah.
Well, you
Truths here.
took it to a really good place there. Come on, reply. What would you say to that person? I'd say that if you're having regular
First of
barbecues and garden parties, then that's your problem, you fucking weirdo. I bet this person votes Tory.
Wait, also, I'm just so confused as to, like, why you're so scared to talk about... Wait, okay, she said, I don't know, is it a she or a he? Whatever. A person, you know, because people are people.
People are people.
This person is talking about the fact that their neighbor apologizes every time, and so, like, it just happens. Like, what are you gonna do? Like, are you that terrified of snakes? Like, I never got people being scared of snakes, especially like a domesticated snake that's meant to be in captivity.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I mean, is the snake eating your flowers? Who cares? Let it run free. What kind of snake?
He's not eating
flowers?
your kids.
He's not eating your kids. He's not eating your flowers. If in the thing was like, they were like, oh yeah, it's eating my flowers and my kids, I'd be like, well, we got a problem here. But right now, I see no problem. I want a get over it button. I want a button that, like, I can press, like, a soundboard and just be like, get over it!
It's like, get over it!
Like that. Exactly like that. That's all I ever want.
Okay, well, let's get to it then. Let's get to it.
Yep.
I want a soundboard. The downfall of all podcasts. We used to have a soundboard. Sorry.
I feel like
really.
when we're in the same room next year, we could probably actually properly set up a soundboard. It would sound really good, I think. We could get up good sounds.
They're just all stuff like that.
Yeah. Be like,
get over it! Speaking of pets, can you hold the fort for 2 seconds? I'm just gonna keep on talking so that people can hear that.
I'll just,
I'm over on the other side of the room.
Are you checking on your hamster?
I'm putting them.
Oh yeah,
back in.
Callum has a really cute hamster, and he has been in the little hamster ball that you always see in like TVs and movies, and he's got to put him back in the cage.
Here's my thing. I was just thinking about this. Hold on, let me just get this boy out. Come on, playtime's over. He's half in, half out. He's half in, half out. Here we go. Final step. There we go. Oh, there's shits in here. Okay,
oh, you shit in the hamster ball?
Yeah.
Oh.
Come on. Ooh. Doopy-doo-boo.
I'm literally gonna have to. I'm sick, so I'm literally gonna have to edit out every single cough that I do that's unnecessary. Like when you're talking and it's just like extra noise, or like when you're talking and you cough. I'm gonna, or when I'm talking and you cough. So like
when we're both talking and we both cough. Damn. So here's my thing. Okay. Hamster balls. So first of all, the fact that we managed to domesticate hamsters is always a marvel to me, because if you could catch one of these bastards in the wild, that'd be pretty. They go fast.
Do they exist in the wild? I thought
they do. They still do. In Syria, they live in the desert.
Oh, okay. I thought
they live in
holes.
They
were like. I thought they reached the point where they've been purely domesticated, but I guess not.
No. You say a wild hamsters. But here's the thing.
That's actually hilarious.
I know. Just how does that thing... I'm looking at him right now. He's literally just a ball of fluff.
He just seems so tame.
Their only means of defense is their ability to run away quickly. That's
a lot of animals.
Yeah, that's true. That's me. fever right now.
That's how you exist.
So who has a hamster? They got this little tiny little ball. They're like, this is the perfect pet. It's the perfect pet. It's this little fluffy ball, pardon me, and it just snuggles up with you. And they just sit and they eat their food and they store things in their big pouches, and it's you got all the food in the big pouches and that. And they're like, wait a minute. You know what would make this better? This tiny little perfect fluff ball pet. You know what would make this better? If I stuck it in a ball. If I took a big ball and I shoved this tiny animal in it and I just let it go wild. That's what would improve this as a pet. That's the main selling point. Hamster sales been okay, but now once we add shove that fucker in a ball, now we're ready to go.
I have an analogy, and I you can tell me if I'm completely wrong, but this is what I feel like hamster ball is. I feel like a hamster ball is to a hamster as Rumspringa is to an Amish person. You know, like, they're in their cage, they're, like, kind of tame, and then they just get in that ball and they go fucking apeshit. Like, they're like, oh my god, I get to go anywhere, everywhere, but only within the parameters of this ball. Which is the same for Amish kids. Because, like, Rumspringa is, like, this moment in their life where they're just like, oh my god, technology and sex and people, and I can do whatever the fuck I want. But I do know that at the end of this, I will go home and I will marry Gertrude, and we will live happily ever after together. That's literally what it is.
Well, they can only see 8 inches in front of them. Amish people, I mean.
Oh, yeah.
It's a genetic defect. Years of inbreeding. They can only see 8 inches in front of them. So when you can probably hear it in the background of this entire first half of this podcast, but they just, like, run forwards. They just run, like, straight forwards until they hit something. And they're like, bah, 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 bah. I'm going. Okay. Turn around. I'm going. Here we go. Oh, no, another wire.
I think the beauty of making fun of Amish people is that they... especially on a podcast like this, is they will never hear it. Not only is this podcast not as popular as we think it is, but
we don't think it's popular.
No chance in hell it's reaching an Amish person. So, like, I feel like we should set aside a 5-minute segment every episode just to, like, make fun of some Amish people, really just let it out. Because,
just let them have it.
Because, like, obviously they don't deserve it necessarily, but it's so easy, Like, people always are like, why do people steal? And you're like, because sometimes it's easy to steal. Not that I steal, but I do make fun of Amish people.
Good take by there. I love that. Let's make fun of this minority group in full knowledge that they will never
But
hear
isn't
us.
that's the dream, like, that's when, when you make, like, horrible jokes to your friends, and it's hilarious, but they're horrible. But you're like, we do this with knowledge that no one else is gonna hear this. Like, I'm gonna make fun of this person because they suck, and I know they're not in the room right now, so I'm gonna make fun of them incessantly until I see them, and then I'm gonna politely smile to their face as if I'd never said anything ever.
Because I am a two-faced person. But this is the kind of thing, though, where Vice takes this, and they take our podcast, and they transcribe it, and they give it to Amish people, and they're like, we spoke to Amish people about the tirade against them on the debrief, and they were not happy. You're like, well, you're the one who told them. They could have spent the rest of their lives, their shitty lives, completely unaware of the fact that we were just making fun of them. It's not our fault. You're the terrible person for bringing the jokes to them.
Now we get all the Rumspringa kids, like, commenting on our, like, podcast. Like, finally have access to the internet. They're like, you sons of bitches. But it's, like, all typed wrong because they never really had to use, like, a computer before, so they're really bad at, like, typing. So, like, there's, like, spelling mistakes unintentionally because they're typing so furiously, but they're really bad at typing, and they're using only both index fingers. they're doing it like that, like as if my dad was typing, but, they're Amish. And they're just like, you two are a disgrace to God, but, like, disgrace has, like, 4 E's, and you're like, you held too long!
Disgrace. The two main demographics that this podcast is aimed for is Thai men and What did you call it?
Anyone who's not Amish.
No. What those kids? What are they called again? The ones who get Rumspringa.
Rumspringa. Yeah. Amish.
The two. Well,
Rumspringa kids. Sorry. Yeah.
Okay, yeah, no, we're on the same page. Okay, welcome back to the debrief, everyone. We've realigned. The two main demographics in this podcast are Thai men, shout out my boys in Thailand, and Rumspringa kids.
Rumspringa kids.
Big, honestly, huge shout out to the Rumspringa kids. I know you're listening. It'd be so
funny if we just like turn this podcast into like semi stand up for like Rumspringa kids and be like, you know when you have to churn butter? Am I right, guys?
Am I right?
And they're like,
am I right?
That's hilarious, beautiful. Oh my god.
Are you insinuating that the basis of a good stand-up routine, regardless of culture, is just saying, how about when you have to do this thing that people have to do? Am I right? And people are just
like... Yeah, how much people have to do things.
Fantastic.
Yeah, exactly.
Hey guys, you know when you're getting the bus to work? Am I right?
Hey,
fantastic stuff. Fantastic.
Hey, you know when you're like not allowed to play music? Am I right, Amish kids? Am I right?
Get this kid a Netflix special.
Listen, I'm working on my stand-up routine, and I think it's coming along just fine.
How many minutes are you going for?
I want a type 5 at least.
A type 5.
A type
5 loose 10. Am I right? That's what you.
I think I have a type 3 right now. But then again, I've never performed it, so we'll see.
Out of context, this probably sounds hilarious. And you can put that in your stand-up routine. Don't even worry about it.
Yeah.
What is the content? Is it vulgar? What is it related to? Is it observational? Hilarious things that after you've pointed them out, people go,
I think it's about...
I do experience that myself.
I think observational, probably. But, like, just... Because I have a lot of stories in my life where I put myself in very unfortunate situations, and I think it's very self-deprecating.
Yes, you do.
So, like, that's, like, my favorite kind of humor. Especially because, like, I've been through a lot of, like, shit. Not like, oh, I've been through really hard times. No, I mean, like, just, like, weird things that have happened in my life. And I always like going to my friends and then tell them, and they're like, what the fuck? And then they're, like, cracking up. And in the moment, I'm like, well, that was a terrible thing to happen, but it's gonna be goddamn hilarious in, like, an hour. Like, once I'm over it.
Well, that's how this show started.
Yeah. It was literally, because Calum would always, we would go on a night out, and, you know, we would start the night off together, and then, like, we would separate because we have other friends, or, like, we would meet people.
Well, I have other friends.
I have friends, Calum, okay, that aren't you. But I, like, you know, I might meet a gentleman caller, per se. You might meet a lady of the night, who knows?
I might find a ravishing gentleman at the bar. You might hire a prostitute.
Literally. But yeah, you know, like, we would, like, meet people or whatever. We wouldn't always end the night together. And then in the morning, Calum would come down to my room, because I was literally just the floor below him, in our
She
hall.
was in this Big Bang Theory sitcom that we got going on, she was the girl. She was the girl across the corridor, except she wasn't. She was the girl on the floor below me.
Yeah. Had to walk down a flight of stairs. And so, he would come in the morning, and then we would be like, alright, this is what happened, and we would just go through, like, all the things that happened in the night.
And then one day we went, wait a minute, we're hilarious. We should do this.
Hilarious.
We should do this to a group of people.
Yeah. Quotations around group, meaning, like, some people listen to the radio show.
Hey. We did pretty good. Those were the peaks. I don't know what our viewership is at right now, but
we would peak like 40. Like, at our height of our radio show, we would peak at, like, 40 or 50.
In the golden age. It blows my mind that we got more people to listen to us on our radio show than we do. Because, like, this is way more convenient.
I genuinely don't know how many people have listened to this. I mean, I probably could find out the stats from the podcasting club, but I genuinely
don't care.
Like, it could be like 2 people are listening to every episode, or it could be like 20 people, or more than 20 even. I don't actually know, because I mean, people say they listen to it. Like, I have friends who have like listened to it. And we don't post, like, so often that, like, you would fall behind, you know? We've posted 4 episodes in the span of, like, 3 months. We're so bad at posting. But you know what, guys?
Hey, that's almost one a month. That's almost one a month. You know what?
New year, new debrief. We are posting once a week. And I say that now with the hopes that no one makes it to the 35-minute mark right now and calls me out on my bullshit.
That's the thing, we can say anything we want and no one is listening, so...
It's always the first 10 minutes that matter, and then after that, we can just say whatever the hell we want.
As evidenced by this episode.
Yeah. Honestly, I'm pretty proud of the content we've produced so far. It's only been 36 minutes, but I still have nothing written down.
Damn. Well,
this is all off-the-cuff comedy, like, good quality comedic content for all of you.
We'll check back in with Katja in 10 minutes and see if she still has nothing written down in front of her.
I know. I don't even have a notebook. I can't even write anything down.
Damn.
I know. It's magical.
I mean, yeah, like you say, probably could get the stats on this, but I feel like it would be a pretty arbitrary exercise to...
I feel like I would get really sad if I saw the stats. Like, if I saw the
stats... to have the illusion of grandeur.
Like, I feel like the first episode, like, I honestly think on the first episode we probably hit maybe 30, 40. And then the second episode is probably like 10.
Yeah.
Like, maybe 10 people listen to the second episode.
I think 10 is a bold estimate.
You know what, Calum? That's quitter talk. That is... You gotta believe in the content you are producing.
You're so right.
Putting out into the world. But yeah. Honestly, most of those listens are probably me. I always listen back to make sure that...
I always listen at least 10 times a week.
I try to listen at least... I listen through all of them once a day, and then I always, like, play back my favorite one. Like,
I play back my favorite moments from each one.
The highlights.
Yeah.
I actually have them written down, like,
the numbers, the timestamps.
Yeah, I have the timestamps written down on my wrist. I've actually rewritten them over my wrist so many times.
They're actually tattooed.
They're getting close to being tattooed. Like, every time I shower, it only slightly washes off.
People are like, wow, what do those numbers mean? That's so deep. Like, what is it? And you're like, they're actually the timestamps of my favorite moments in my podcast that I do, the debrief.
My podcast. Have you heard of podcasts, right? Yeah, I have one. I have a podcast.
Podcasts. It's like the radio, but on your phone. It's like the radio, but you can do it anytime you want. I have one. The debrief with Calum and Katja Olcott.
That was low key me explaining what a podcast was to my parents. I was just like, "Oh yeah, it's like the radio, but not." And my dad was like, "I don't get it.
What is this?
What is this?" Because I told him I was doing a podcast, and they were like, "Huh?
You doing what?"
Wait,
is that one of those newfangled drugs?
Can you repeat that, please?
My daughter started doing podcast. It sounds
Actually,
terrible.
It's more like my dad with like a normal American accent, and my mom with like, sorry, what? I don't understand. What are you making? A podcast? A podcast, okay. What is a podcast?
Well, Katja, I don't know what a podcast is. Katja, you have to explain to me what the podcast is.
Katja, do you pick up your room? A mess. Look around.
Katja, how do you expect to do podcasts when you cannot even see the floor?
Socks in the underwear drawer. I'm like, Mom, don't worry about it. Mom, please.
Ma, no.
It's so funny. My mom gets kind of cheesed off whenever I call her Ma. Because I'll be like, Ma! Like, I'm just, like, yelling it. And she's like, what? What do you need? And I'm like, can you get me a glass of water? It's always, like, for the dumbest shit. Or I'm like, I lost something. And she's like, well, find it! And I'm like,
thank you!
You're like, wow, so helpful. No, me and my dad always like to to joke because
That's funny. That's good.
What I was about to say.
Me and my dad, we like to joke. We like to have a little bit of a joke every so often. Every now and then, we'll have a little bit of a joke.
Yeah, at my mom's expense.
Touche.
My dad will, because whenever something goes missing in our house, it's usually because we're idiots, but there's also some of the time it's like my mom will put it in a different place.
Mm-hmm.
Like she'll just
want
to like
bitch.
Yeah, I know, right? So she'll like want to tidy up and she'll collect things or she'll move them to a different room, or let's say we left something on the counter and she'll bring it up to my room and I'm like, "Ma! Where'd you put this?" And she'll be like, "It's in your room!" I feel like that's the decibel my family is at, like, constantly.
Yeah. Having lived with you for a few days, that's, I was actually talking about this with my mom the other day, where she was talking about how, and it's a problem that I encounter with my flatmates as well, is this thing where people will do shit for you and then they expect you to thank them. When they do something that you didn't ask them to do, and then they get annoyed when you aren't glad that they did it. So, like...
Wait, what do you mean? Like if someone bought you an extra, like...
No. I mean, so, for instance, simple example.
Because I would always say thank you to that.
Yeah, like... no, I'm not saying don't say thank you to people when they do you kindnesses. I mean stuff like, so, I'm nocturnal and hungry all the time. So, I have been known to, the early hours of the wee hours of the morning... Sometimes.
Oh, no, really?
I have been known to make some food for myself. So,
Make. Wait. Quotations around make.
I'm a chef, Katja. I'm a chef.
Or steal. Steal is also a common denominator.
I don't steal things. I
anymore?
make my own food. Well, I own all the food in the house, so I can't steal it.
Oh, yeah, that's fair. But but in your flat with 3 other people, you don't sneak from the pot, do you?
Well, it's all ours.
Yeah, but not all of it's yours.
Well, no, that's literally what it is.
Wait, so you're telling me that no one has, like, their own food that they buy for themselves?
I do.
Okay.
And Linda steals from me. Linda Eckefeld of Avenue des Cactus.
Okay, continue. Sorry, I'm cutting you off.
Please. So like, I'll go down, I'll make it, I'll go back up to my room, it's fine, then I go back downstairs. We don't have a dishwasher, so it would require me to actually go to the effort of washing it. I'll be like, it's 2 a.m.
Mm-hmm.
Also, a lot of the time, I've just come back from a shift where I've spent the past hour cleaning up, and now I come home and I'm like, I don't want to clean up some more shit, so...
Anytime, I think there's like a rule. Anything that is made after the hour of 10 p.m., you won't do the dishes until.
Yeah, well, that's very reasonable of you. So, and I'll leave it, and I'm like, I don't have class, and this is why I'm nocturnal. It's because I work at a bar, so like at least 2 or 3 times a week, just like at least 2 times a week, just like on work, not even counting like going out. I'm not going to be home until like 3 a.m. So, yeah. And also I don't have any class before 1 p.m. So I'm a nocturnal person. So I come home, I make my food, I put it out, and I'm like, I'll deal with that in the morning. I've got all morning to clean this up. It's whatever. And then I'll just leave it there and I'm like, okay, that's fine. I'm going to go to bed now. So I come downstairs the next morning and hey, it's been cleaned up and put away. Nice. Okay, whatever. Sound. I guess I don't have to do that. But then someone will have the audacity to later on make a passive-aggressive comment about, oh yeah, I cleaned up your dish, by the way. And I'm like, I didn't fucking ask you to, though, did I? I was gonna do it. It's not my fault that you woke up and for some reason felt the need to clean it up. When you could have just, like, because a lot of the time, you're there for like 5 minutes and then you go to your lectures. It's not my fault that you decided to do that. I was gonna do it. It's just that I don't wake up before 10 because I don't have class before 1 and I very rarely get to sleep before, like, at the earliest 2 a.m. Yeah.
Yeah, no, I'm the same because I always leave everything to, like, later. I'm always like, I'll do this later.
Yeah.
And then if someone does it, I'm just, like, if my mom cleans the dishes, and she'll be like, you left your dishes, and I'm like, well,
I was gonna do them.
Yep.
You
didn't have to clean it.
Could have left them there. And you know what? Maybe that's irresponsible of me. It probably is. But hey, it's just who I am. Take me as you find me.
I mean, I feel like, well, here's my thing. I feel like if it's not in the way of, like, someone else doing whatever they need to do, then it's not a problem. Exactly. So, like, let's say, I don't know, if you put your dishes in the sink and, like, it blocked them from washing their own dishes, maybe, yeah, but if it's, like, just off to the side where, like, no one's actually prepping breakfast, then you'd be fine. I don't know. Me and my mom had a funny moment, like, last night. Mm-hmm. She has this weird thing where she wants me to shower before her because she wants to have the shower second or whatever. And I'm like,
that's because she wants to be able to experience the shower at her own pace without the knowledge that she's keeping someone else from it.
Yeah, but that's the thing. I don't care because I was like, I'm gonna get a shower eventually, and we had a guest coming over.
Provided you leave the shower at some point.
Yeah, and I'm not like in a rush. Like yesterday specifically, I literally had nowhere else to go. I was like, I'm watching the Golden Globes at home with my mom. So like, what's gonna happen? But so our friend Anne came over for dinner, who lives down the street, and so like it's like, I don't know, 20 minutes before dinner, and my mom's like, why aren't you in the shower? And I was like, I'm gonna get there eventually. And she's like, now how am I gonna shower? And I'm like, I don't know, go now. And she's like, no, I'm not going now. And you know, I was like, okay, I'll just shower downstairs, you know, because we have 2 showers. My mind was blown. I couldn't believe, I was just like, what is going on? And she was like, no, don't you dare shower downstairs. People are going to use that bathroom. And I was like, what does that even mean?
How dirty do you think I am?
No, she means, like, she doesn't want... The downstairs bathroom is where, like, guests go to, like, pee and stuff.
It's where I went to pee.
So she didn't want me to
Did Mania pee in that bathroom, viewers, listeners?
Like, but, like, that's the thing, because our bedrooms are upstairs, we all just use the upstairs shower, but there is a beautifully, like, perfect shower on the first floor that we leave for, like, guests and stuff, or we leave that bathroom, whatever, it doesn't matter. Annie was coming over... And my mom didn't want me to use the downstairs shower. And she was like, no, just use the upstairs shower. And then she was complaining about the fact that she wouldn't have time to shower. And I was like, Mom, just take the shower. I was so frustrated. I was just like, what do you mean? You could just take a shower. And she's like, no, you have to shower first. And I'm like, this arbitrary rule about me showering first doesn't make any sense, because you clearly want to be clean more than I do before Anne gets here. So why don't you just go and take a shower? Oh, God, sorry. I blacked out there for a second.
You were possessed by a demon there.
Yeah, it was, sorry. That's a little intense. I love my mother dearly, but we do know how to get under each other's skin.
Would you like to take an opportunity to apologize to her on this public
forum? For not showering first? I did actually end up showering first, and she did have time to shower after me.
So you recovered.
Before Anne came. Yes. I don't know, it's one of those things where, like, we're very similar, so we fight about, like, nothing. You know what I mean?
Oh, I know.
Yeah. And you're just like, why are we fighting about that? I feel the need to argue.
You're like, well, we've started fighting now, so I'm gonna continue.
I'm gonna finish, and I think it's because we both have this undying need to be right. Mm-hmm. And so, like, my dad's just, like, not like that. He just kind of accepts defeat. So, like...
That's exactly what the relationship between me and my mom is like, and my dad.
Yeah, like, my dad's just kind of like, alright, yeah. Even if he's right, he's just like, you're not gonna deal with this. And my mom and I are like, I don't know, because I have my dad's sort of, like, thought process, but not the will to, like, stop fighting.
Not his mellow.
Yeah, like, so, like, a lot of the times, like, my mom thinks that we're, like, ganging up on her, but we're not. It's just, like, I think like he does. So he'll be like, that's not logical, like, let's do this. And then I'm like, yeah, like, let's just do this. And then And then she gets mad, and then I'm like, why are you mad? That's just how I feel.
Sometimes I find myself, like, towards the end of it, I'm arguing the point that I didn't believe in. Because when we started the argument, me and my mom were arguing about the same thing, but through the process, like, through the course of the argument, I start to be like, yeah, well, no.
Well, no,
actually, but I'm actually going to start supporting this other side that I don't actually agree with. What?
Yeah. It's also one of those things that, like, my mom, she's, like, such a kind person, and she's such a, like, good person. She doesn't, like, she always likes to see the good in people, and so, like, we'll fight because I'm angry at someone else.
Yeah.
Like, it's one of those things where I'm like, oh, I just, like, really need to, you know, what's the word? Vent. I need to vent. I need to vent about whatever happened to me with this one person. And then, like, in the middle of it, she'll be like, well, you know, maybe they're just going through a hard time. You never know. And then I'm like, Mom, that's beside the point. I want you to be on my side. I'm irrationally angry about this one thing, and I'd love for you to be on my side. And she's like, well, you know, I don't want you to hold a grudge. Like, that's not healthy. And I'm like,
I'm not gonna hold a grudge. That's why I'm doing this. It's so that I don't hold a grudge. I'm letting it out right now.
Yeah.
I'll do that. And she's like, I just don't want you to become a hateful person. I'm like, I'm not gonna become a hateful person. Because I'm letting all my emotions out right now. If I bottle it up inside, then I become a hateful person.
That's exactly why venting is so important. Like, I think the biggest issue is, a lot of people say that, like, guys, like, if their girlfriend's venting, they'll try to fix the problem, and that, like, you shouldn't fix the problem, you should just listen. That's totally true, but that's not specific to just, like, people in relationships. That's to everyone.
Yeah.
I think in general, if someone is venting to you about something that they're having a problem with, or they're mad about something, just, like, agree with them. That's all you need to do. All you need to do is agree with them, and they'll feel 1,000 times better.
I mean, half the shit that I say when I vent, I don't actually mean as well, or it's exaggerated, or whatever.
But
it's just because you just let it out. You just let it go.
It's just a stream of consciousness that you don't actually intend to, like, repeat back to whatever person you're angry at, or whatever thing you're angry at.
I'm telling you this so that I don't explode in their face.
Yeah, exactly. That's how I imagine, like, I don't know. Everyone, like, I'm lucky enough that every work environment I've been in, I actually like the people I work with. But whenever people are like, that bitch Carol from the cubicle 2 down, like, and you're like, alright, we're in for a treat.
I love that, though.
Yeah.
I love just having someone unload it on me. Oh, God.
Oh, Calum, that was
spicy.
That was a little sexual.
When someone's like, oh my God, and this thing happened at work today, and I'm like, okay, let's get this.
That's like
let's get this party started.
Yeah, it's like when you're friends with people in the food service industry. You're just like, holy shit.
Yeah.
I had this one friend who they worked at the local coffee shop, and every time they would, like,
well, it was in New York, so it was the local coffee shop.
You know, the coffee shop, and
fun times.
And they would get off work, they would get off work, and then I would see them in school, and they'd be like, dude, you have no fucking idea what I deal with every day at that shithole. Because the boss is awful, and then also, like, you get, because it's right by the high school and the middle school, you get, during the week, you get all the kids, coming out of, coming during lunch hour, so sometimes they would work their lunch hour because, like, they would be crowded, and so they would get paid extra if they worked the lunch hour. So, like, instead of having a lunch hour during high school, which is, like, the one saving grace of the middle of the day, when you're just like, alright, I fucking hate biology, I fucking hate, like, calculus, French class. I fucking hate
Cindy.
Yeah, I fucking hate Cindy. French class was an absolute bore. Oh, lunch, finally, I get to see all my friends I didn't get to see in the middle of the day, and all this, but instead, your work shit job, with a bunch of high schoolers running out being like, Kyle, Mokalase, fucking Frappuccino bullshit. Like,
with an espresso shot in it.
Yeah, but honestly, high schooler, I think high schoolers were actually not the worst customers.
Well, it's because high schoolers know they like.
Yeah.
High schoolers, especially older high schoolers, are way more empathetic towards people in the service industry because they know so many people who are in the service industry.
And they probably are in the service industry. It's the middle-aged people who are the worst, and it's the middle schoolers. Like, so our middle school would get let out at 2:50 every day, and so at 2:55 you did not want to be caught dead in the coffee shop. It's called the Black Cow. I probably should have said that earlier, but
or
yeah,
not.
so, like,
fuck the Black Cow.
You don't fuck the Black Cow, Calum. That's bestiality. That's
what are you, racist? I'm just, by the way, this is probably completely fucking the audio, but my hamster's in its wheel, so I'm moving.
Yeah. But yeah, so like at 2:55 it would just be a fucking rush of these like mid-puberty and pre-puberty. It was like a bad mix of like, cuz you know, like when you're 11 and 12 and 13, those are the years where half the grade is like hitting puberty and like has shit going on, and the other half is like, I still look like I'm 7, you know what I mean? And so
that's where you've got the people who look like bodybuilders, and then the guy who like, has not changed since he was. He has like
he's got like maybe a dirt stash, but it's like kind of sad.
It's
like he's just on like about to hit puberty, but like all he has is a dirt stash to show for it.
Arnie and Peter Pan are lab partners in chemistry. Just the contrast is crazy.
Yeah, but they would.
Those kids are the worst.
They were the worst. And so they would rush in.
They are the worst.
They still are the worst. But those kids, you know, they rush in. It's okay. I was one of those kids. No, I can make fun of them because we were there. But I'm rushing into the Black Cow, and they fucking all order the same exact thing, which it's basically a chocolate smoothie. But it's like such a fucking hassle to make for the people behind the counter because of the ingredients that you need to put in it, and then they have to rinse out the blender every time someone orders. So my friend would look at the line of these like prepubescent toddlers and just look at them and go, is anyone else getting a calf whip? Like, because that's what it was called. It was like, is anyone else getting a calf whip? And like they're all talking to each other and no one's paying attention. And then like my friend would go and would make the calf whip and bring it back for the first kid. And the next kid would come and be like, have a calf whip! And they'd be like, I'm literally gonna kill myself. Like, it's gonna end. And the way they would pay, they would just reach into their pockets, and they would pull out a jumble of, like, $1 bills and then, like, coins, and they would count it out on the counter. Because, you know, they're middle schoolers. They don't have real money yet. They don't make money.
they just have a collection of coins and change that is made up of months' worth of allowance.
Yeah, it's just like allowance that their parents like. No middle schoolers like roll it up with a $20 bill. Like, here, keep the change. You know, it's just like it's like fucking like so. And of course they never tip because they don't understand that like part of the customer service industry just yet. So like, you know, obviously whenever I buy like a drink or whatever, if there's like change left over, like the coins I'll throw into the tip jar, or if like they're doing a big order or whatever, not necessarily the Black Cow, but just anywhere, maybe I'll put like an extra $1 or $2. But like, I don't know, it's middle schoolers are the worst in so
that
many
age
ways.
group is just so it's different for us as well because we have
you're stuck with them.
We have that because we don't have middle school and high school, that thing is together. So you've got 10-year-olds potentially, 10, 11-year-olds, and like 18, 19-year-olds in the same school.
Yeah, because you have...
And it's just the weirdest dynamic in the world. But the 11-year-olds are fine. The ones you gotta watch out for are the fucking like 14, 15-year-olds. They're assholes. They suck. It's the like second and third. First years are alright, second years and third years suck. Because they're too old. They're like old enough that they've realized that they're not kids anymore, and they've been in high school for long enough that they're not like woo wah 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 wah. So they're kind of like they're past that, and they think that they know how things work, but they're not old enough to be mature enough to be like, oh, I'm an asshole, or this is not how like the world works or whatever. So they just suck. they're just the worst.
They just really suck.
And they get wide. They like square up to the like. You've got these 14-year-olds who are barely scraping 5 foot, and then in our school we would have these like 19-year-old massive like hulking first 15 rugby players just walking along the corridor. And you've got this tiny little asshole just want to be like they think they're hard, and then they go out and they post pictures on their social media of them drinking non-alcoholic beers and Red Bull. There's that always the classic. I mean, this is probably more of a UK thing than an American thing, but just the classic of just these 14-year-olds. They're all wearing like jackets and hoodies, and they're standing in a forest or something. It's always in a forest. I don't know why. It's just always in a forest, and they've all got a can of Red Bull, and they're like, yeah, like I'm cool now. I'm cool. And you're like, no, you're not cool. You're an asshole.
Congrats, you're old enough to buy energy drinks.
No, in fact, they're not, actually, now. In Scotland, they're not.
Oh, did it change?
You have to be 16 to buy energy drinks in Scotland.
That's so...
Because
that's so funny.
We have an obesity epidemic. There's kids out there who need jump-ins to buy Red Bull.
I never understood when, like, middle schoolers or kids that age were, like, acting they acted like they were our equal or whatever when I was in high school. I remember when I was their age, I feared the high schoolers. I was like, they're big and scary and I don't want to go near them. And then when I was a high schooler, I was like, yeah, you better feel the same way I felt about like high schoolers when I was your age.
And they don't.
And then I remember once I got fucking catcalled by these like 12-year-olds. I was literally like, yeah, I was like, what? And I turned around and I straight up, I'm so proud of this line. I straight up was like, why do one of you need a babysitter? And they all...
hello there.
Yeah, and the kid who like started the whole like he wasn't like, he was just like, hey, like how's it, I don't know, he's being really creepy. And I was like, how does a 12-year-old be creepy? You're 12.
How is this a tall coming across as creepy and not sweet? You literally, you're 12. You don't have to do anything to not be sweet, but you're really messing it up right now.
You're really messing it up. And I literally was like, I was like, I am old. I literally could babysit you. And
I'm old enough to be your mother.
Yeah, literally straight up. And the kid who like started the whole like whatever trying to hit on me conversation like just turned silent and all his friends were like, bro, like I just roasted him and I was like, hell yeah I did. Hell yeah I did.
Have fun making friends for the next 3 years now, you fucking loser.
Yeah,
I just ruined your middle school career. Bam bam.
That's the dream. It's so bad that like I like being mean to like, little kids.
But they deserve it. They really deserve it.
Sometimes they just really need to be put in their place.
It's the Fortnite generation. They just need to sit the fuck down.
I remember that so vividly. I was like I think I was like 17 or 18 at the time. So I was still in high school. So I was just like, I'm another level from you. Mm-hmm. I think because they recognized me, they felt like maybe they could pull it off. But I think if I was just like, you know, some college kid that they saw, they would never try it in a million years. The problem is that they've never known fear. This generation has grown up watching like Zoella and Logan Paul and shit, and they think that all their dreams are going to come true and that life is fine and nothing is shit. And so they don't understand the law of the jungle yet. There's no law of the jungle.
These kids don't know what true fear feels like.
Well, I think that's the thing. Like, obviously, bullying is terrible, but also,
but is it though?
I don't know. I'm gonna be honest. Some bullying is good.
It's necessary. Like, it's character building.
Like, obviously, there's certain bullying that like the incessant bullying, the constant, like that's terrible. But you know, sometimes people need to be put in their place.
You know what? These kids, they're like dodos. You know, or like any animal where they've not been around humans for long enough to fear us, so they feel comfortable around humans. That's what they're like. Yeah. We were like the foxes or Oh no.
Yeah.
Those kind of animals that understand that...
Like the bunnies.
Yeah, that you run away. When you see a human and it moves towards you, you run away from it. That's what we were like. Whereas these kids, they don't understand.
Well,
and you know what? That's why they're gonna go extinct.
They're going extinct. Hopefully. That sounds terrible, but hopefully.
The takeaway message from this episode is that we hope that all people currently within the age range of 12 to like 16, which is what? It's like 2002 to 2005.
But that's the thing, like, it's not all of them, which is crazy to me because I met a 14-year-old. He's this a sweet kid. He's the children of
He's the children?
Family. Oh, shut up. He's the child of a family friend of ours, and I met him, and he's this gay kid. He was super nice, and he's 14. He's so tall. He's like 6 foot something. I was like, okay, what are these kids eating?
You see, that's why though. That's why he had respect, was because he was way too tall for his age. So you know that kid's getting bullied. That's why he had respect.
Well, he had respect for me, and we had a lot in common, and he was way more mature for his age than most kids I've met. Honestly, more mature than I probably was at 14. Let's be honest. But like I remember I talked to him, like my the parents were talking at dinner, and I was talking with him. And, he had hopes and dreams, and I was like, I believe in these. I believe in your hopes and dreams. Because he was working at them.
Wait, it has thoughts. It has hopes.
Yeah.
It has feelings.
It was one of the first times I actually saw someone of the snot-nosed age, and I didn't want to punch them, and it was great,
Wow.
It was a beautiful moment. Because, like...
Well,
I wanted to take him under my wing. I was just like, because it's so much in common, and I was just like, we both love RuPaul, and I was like, no, sorry, not RuPaul. It was, he actually was super into Harry Potter, and I was like, he was like, wait, did you read Harry Potter? And I was like, bitch, that was my generation. Like,
did I read Harry Potter? I listened to it whilst whittling wands in my bedroom because I had no friends.
Way to dox me.
A little too close to home.
When I was younger, I have to explain the story now. When I was younger, when I was the wee age of 15, actually 15 years old, I wasn't even like 11 or something
it's barely 5 years ago.
That was it was 4 years ago. I was like, when I was 15, it was like after I had read all the Harry Potter books, but my local library had all the audiobooks on CD, and so I would, CD, remember CDs? I would get the whole audiobook, and I would come back to my room, and I would put it in my CD player, and I would listen to it. And I had a Swiss Army knife that my grandma gave me, and I would whittle wands. Because that's how many friends I had.
And look at you now. I have a
semi-successful podcast with this loser, Calum.
Woohoo, with me, Calum Essler.
But yeah, that, a real glow up, I must say. I've definitely...
I feel like podcasting is the wand whittling of the modern age, to be honest with you.
Well, at least I improved slightly. I've at least moved into the technological age. That's what I could say. Other than that, new year, new me, question mark? But yeah, it is 2019, folks, so, tip your bartenders. Tip your bartenders, whittle your wands, punch your kids. It's 2019. Don't teach them some respect. Don't punch your kids. And with that, another positive episode of The Debrief comes to an end. Yeah. We'll try to upload as soon as possible. We don't have to bypass anyone, so I literally just have to send it to the guy, which is fantastic. But the question is, will I get this on time? That is the real question. But yeah, alright. We'll see you next time. It's been real, boys and girls. Bye! Bye!